Morning! That's Maricopa Peak back there. Not allowed to get much closer to that because it belongs to the Air Force and they have a Goldwater bombing test range over there. Live ammo. So we'll stop here and talk some anime.
Millennium Actress.
Millennium Actress is an entertaining, faux biographical anime. It tells the life story of a fictional actress, Chiyoko Fujiwara, who retired at the height of her career and withdrew to the secluded life. She's now almost 80 years old, retired for decades. An equally fictitious documentary filmmaker, Tachibana Genya, is a big fan of Chiyoko's, and he finally manages to score a rare interview with the former star. His story is tied to the closing of the studio which Chiyoko once starred. Together with his cameraman, Genya makes the trip up to her secluded home. Chiyoko opens up and tells them her life story, starting as a child actress back in the 1920s. We begin by seeing Chiyoko's life through the lens of the documentary and her own narrative power, but the movie is told in such a way that it quickly invites the interviewer, Genya, and his cameraman, and us into the story itself, and the animation obliges by blurring the past with the present in a unique visual presentation. As Chiyoko's life story unfolds, the anime also relates her many screen roles, and the movie slides effortlessly from the present narration in the living room to Chiyoko's life story and into the stories of her old movies themselves. Eventually, Genya himself begins to fancy himself in the movies as well, taking on the roles of various heroes.
花ペちゃんの私の何が良かったんだか。女学校に通っていた私を銀営の専務さんが気に入ったとかで。
奥方、満州を舞台にした今度の新作はお国のために戦っている兵隊さんや。
Beneath the obvious actress biography, Chiyoko's story is one of trying to recapture a lost dream, recover a precious moment from her past, the most important thing there is. Eventually we'll discover Genya himself has a small personal connection back to Chiyoko's past when their paths briefly crossed. This may account for why he's such a big and knowledgeable fan. Well, actually, Genya has more than simple admiration for Chiyoko. Millennium Actress is directed by Satoshi Kon, and his storytelling technique may remind you of his previous movie, Perfect Blue, in the way it blurs between its three realities: the present day of the interview, Chiyoko's past, and Chiyoko's movie roles. Chiyoko tells us she was born during the Great Kanto earthquake, and that earthquakes have always delimited the chapters of her life. Perhaps not surprisingly, this movie begins with an earthquake itself. Unlike Perfect Blue, this story isn't a tense crime thriller. It's a much softer story. It has a sense of humor to it, and such as when the cameraman drolly comments on the implausibility of the plot of one of Chiyoko's old movies, or his boss's choice of an imagined role within it. There's also a more sentimental purpose to this movie, almost a romance. Millennium Actress embraces these three different time spans: the time during the interview and the present, the history of Chiyoko's life in the 1920s through World War II and into the present, and the many time frames of Chiyoko's many movies, from historical dramas set back in feudal Japan unto today. Except for her first role, which was set in the 1930s, we see the movies in what I think is almost chronological order, from Heian to Meiji to modern era, and finally a science fiction film that's teased at the very start of the movie. The plot of many of these dramas complements Chiyoko's real-life story. Satoshi Kon has a sure touch as a director and a master storyteller. He navigates between humor, romance, and sentimentality as easily as he jumps between eras. He conceived the story and co-wrote the screenplay with Saruyuki Himurai. The art and animation is by Madhouse, and it's superb as usual. The character designs are by Takeshi Honda, and they're expressive and recognizable even as they age. The artwork beautifully recreates the half-dozen eras the story goes through. The scene from Chiyoko's memory start out as mostly black and white, with splashes of color on Chiyoko herself and a couple of important characters. And as time gets closer to the present, the colors gradually go from black and white to washed out to more vivid, a graphic indication of Chiyoko's fading memory of the distant past. You'll also notice a considerable amount of detail in the background, especially the wood grains.
千代子さん待っててください。今行きますぞ。
あの方、都に。
Background music is by Susumu Hirakawa, and it perfectly blends with the periods and settings of the movie. It's great at capturing Chiyoko's moods from joy to desperation to sadness. It even provides a reason for listening through the closing credits. Kurosawa has provided music for other Satoshi Kon projects, including Paranoia Agent and Paprika, so I guess Kon liked what he heard too. While Millennium Actress is slower than Kon's earlier Perfect Blue and doesn't have the thrills of an action story, it's a richer tapestry of emotions he goes for. It would be a mistake to relegate this drama to some art house fare. I give Millennium Actress 5 stars. It's a superb drama, told with some nice humor and gentle sentiment, and it stands up well to repeated viewings. Millennium Actress is released on DVD in North America by DreamWorks. It has the original Japanese dialogue with optional English or French subtitles. Sticking with the Japanese dialogue was a great idea. They actually used 3 different voice actresses to voice the role of Chiyoko. The DVD also includes a 40-minute extra making-of video, which includes interviews with the director, composer, art director, and voice actresses. Among other things, it shows the staff doing historical research on the periods where Chiyoko's movies are set. It gives you a chance to see Satoshi Kon dressed in authentic samurai armor. Thanks for listening.